Good morning, good people. Today is Monday, May 12th, 2025. Here we are, Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and other interested people experience this life where the adventure is, where our theme is the adventure justifies the catastrophe. Good morning, What Not a Bevy. Good morning, good morning. Glad you're at Planet Fitness, working, hoo-yah. And Maticus Von Atticus, good morning. It's storming. Stormin' Norman? What do you mean it's storming? Rain? April showers? What are you saying? What are you telling us? Once again, happy birthday. Looking forward to chatting with you when you have some time. I have class tonight pretty much from 3 till 9. I will be engaged in studying, reviewing, preparing, etc. This is day 1 of week 4 in our neuroscience approach to success. Neuroscience as opposed to psychology or math or business or whatever. Spiritual. This is a neuroscience approach to success. This is week 4, day 1. We'll talk more about that, but other big things for today. TV interview regarding the so-called anti-camping ordinance that was passed, that was approved, put into effect last week. We can talk more about that. But so What Not a Bevy, how does it feel to be 22? Also necessary, important to say good morning, Miss Trinkle, wherever you are. Good morning, Diana, wherever you is also. And to other people, thank you for being here. Send us a note, whatever. Okay, so we got a really big show today. Our theme is the adventure justifies the catastrophe. This is a shortening of a quote by Jordan Peterson, where it's the adventure of your life justifies the catastrophe. Interesting. So the adventure of your life justifies the catastrophe. And if we look at life, the opportunity to be alive, to be spirit in a baryonic form, to have matter, mass, where time is a one-way street, shouldn't it be an adventure? Shouldn't it be an adventure? Wouldn't it be the case that we're given this particular type of body that has the ability to do all kinds of stuff, that we should use it? Not you have this body that you can do all kinds of stuff and feel all kinds of stuff. You have a body, but no, we're not going to use it. Let's see, what does What Not a Bevy say? She says 22. Alternate voice. I'm over. Okay, because I know what will happen if I drink. Okay, good. Good for you all, both. Good things happening on the horizon. And a perhaps scheduled TV interview. This was derailed one other time. And talk about that for a second. The County Board of Commissioners approved an ordinance making it illegal to camp on public sidewalks and parks and things like that, based upon an anti-camping ordinance in Clark County in Las Vegas. One of the provisions was the people had 24 hours to move in the Vegas ordinance. Here, they amended the ordinance to be immediately. And you think, they're copying an ordinance in Vegas that said 24 hours, but we want it to be immediately. Why are we improving upon their ordinance? And of course, our people, not knowing what their ordinance was actually for, looked at the Vegas ordinance and said, yeah, those guys are really dumb. You got a vagrant person loitering next to a fire hydrant or sitting on the curb. You're going to give him 24 hours to move? Boy, that's dumb. Those guys in Vegas are really dumb. Except the Vegas anti-camping ordinance is actually for anti-camping. It's for people living in tents. And in Las Vegas, they have had a growing problem of people living in tents on the sidewalks. Tents plus all things. And the cops could only do a thing going next, and there's just rows of these, kind of like you see in Las Vegas and in LA and San Francisco. There's just, dozens, scores of tents lined up along the fence in kind of remote areas. Well, I should say they're not residential areas, and they're more industrial areas. So today we're going to come down and fine you. We're going to give you, not fine you, we're going to give you a ticket. We're going to give you notice that you've got 24 hours to be out of here. And I'm coming back tomorrow, and any tent that's here, we're going to call the proper people, and they're going to remove your tent and take your stuff. So move it. That was the Vegas ordinance because people were actually camping. So here, our County Board of Commissioners took the ordinance that was for people living in tents on sidewalks and have now used it as a weapon against people sitting next to fire hydrants or poles or on the curb near driveways. And one of the commissioners on Saturday went to the next step to say, basically, yeah, we got him on that one. You people should feel better. We've made your life much safer. No vagrants on public property. And now we're going to go to sleeping. You can't sleep on public property. So if you're in a car, you're an 80-year-old lady that's living in her car, you can't be in the park where it could be safe, the parking lot of the park where it could be safe. Nope. You can't be on a public street sleeping in your car. Nope. You've got to move along. Move along. So myself, along with some pastors, have the opportunity to go on air and say, yeah, but these people our orphans and widows need to be treated humanely. They're not cockroaches. They're not a virus that we need to stamp out. These are people who need help. And you don't help people. You don't slam the door in people's faces who need help. We're called to actually help them. Okay, so that's enough on that soapbox. We'll see what happens. The last time we did this, after they shot it, and the excitement was there with the camera guy. Yeah, I'm going to get a prize for this one. Nope, we're not airing it. We're not airing it. People in the positions of authority have decided we're not airing this. Next. Okay, so what do we got? Advice from an 80-year-old. Show respect for everyone who works for a living, regardless of how trivial their job. Right. They have a job. And I would say most people who are living in tents out in the desert or wherever, for them, it's the best alternative. It's not what they want. It's the best alternative. Would they like to have a job? Probably. And if they say, no, I don't want a job, it's probably because there's something emotionally going on. There's some level of trauma, fear, whatever. Okay, so that's the advice from an 80-year-old. Show respect for everyone who works for a living. What else we got on our hit parade? Darren Hardy has a good story about two frogs fall into a pit. The rest of the frogs up above say it's too deep, you can't get out. They're jumping, trying to get out. It's too deep. You guys shouldn't have done that. Why weren't you paying more attention? We'll pray for you. One frog, after several hours of jumping, decides to just give up quickly, soon dies. The other frog keeps jumping, 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 jumping. The other ones are yelling down to him, stop jumping. You can't, it's too high, it's too deep. You're not going to make it. So somehow, though really tired, worn out, this frog somehow miraculously gets the strength. He jumps, he grabs hold, he pulls himself out of the hole. And the other frogs are saying, what caused you to keep doing it? Congratulations, but what caused you to do it? We're telling you to stop, to give up. We're praying for you. And the other frog, reading their lips, says, well, I'm deaf, and I thought you were encouraging me to keep trying harder. Right. So that fits in with Jordan Peterson. The adventure, this is an adventure that justifies the catastrophe of life. Make it an adventure, and yes, there will be catastrophe, but the adventure justifies the catastrophe. Okay, Seth Godin. Seth, infinity is not a number. Right. It's a pursuit of something that's not obtainable. If the journey itself is sustaining you, there's nothing wrong with insisting that it go on and on. But be careful what you're trading away, because infinity will never arrive. That's the point. That's the point. Infinity is not a number. You will never, you get on that, you never get off if infinity is the thing. Okay, what else do we got on our hit parade, Johnny? Daily Stoic. 5 Stoic thoughts. Now, okay, let's talk about the TED Talk, Jordan. Nancy Kane. Week 4, day 1. We call this leadership. So imagine you have the idea of the adventure of your life. You've built a boat to take you on that adventure. You now have the crew, you have the people that are going to help you on the adventure. And now you've pushed off, you're afloat. The game is afoot. It's started. So now what you want to do is keep focused on the adventure. You don't want to be distracted by unnecessary things, infighting, ennui, boredom, etc. So this week we're going to look at this leadership, which is just getting people to help you on this journey, as a spectrum from really bad crisis mode to pure. And we'll start with crisis mode. So again, it's kind of a normal distribution. So sometimes it'll be extreme crisis, sometimes it'll be perfect, most of the time it will be in between those. So we're going to break this week down in catastrophe today, perfection, perfect leadership. Everything's going right. Everything's going wrong today. Everything's going right tomorrow. Right? Bonk, bonk. Everything's going, hi there. Everything's going right tomorrow. But most of the week we're going to spend on practical leadership. Sometimes it's going right. Sometimes it's not going right. Sometimes it's going better and sometimes it's going worse. But today we're dealing with catastrophe. Nancy Kane, Harvard Business School professor, who is also somebody that has been supportive of what we've been doing for over 10 years, though I haven't reached out to her for at least a year, maybe a little bit more than that, just to say hello and thank you. But so yeah, Nancy Kane talking about crisis leadership, and in her approach is to use people as examples. And in her TED Talk, which is not really a TED Talk, but her TED Talk, she focuses on Lincoln and Shackleton, Abraham Lincoln and Ernest Shackleton, of how they dealt with crisis situations, like everything is really, really bad. It's bad to the point where you're thinking about killing yourself or you're going to die. in the case of Shackleton. That we're going to freeze to death, starve to death down here. It's going to be, we're not going to meet a good end. All of us, or some of us, are going to perish. That was what was facing him daily. And Lincoln, it was the Civil War, but it was more of a personal, existential type crisis situation where his dad had told him, "We are nothing, you will be nothing." And he decided to refuse to accept his father's view and decide, my life is not going to be meaningless, and I am not going to be the president, the guy that was the president when this company fell apart, when this idea of a republic, Democratic Republic, fell apart. I am not going to be that person. So crisis leadership. And we know from Nancy Kane that Lincoln threatened to kill himself twice while he was president, just from the pressure, because he had very few people helping him. Most of the people in the background hoping he was going to fail or doing things to make it more difficult, creating obstacles to his success. So, yeah. Right. So that's the story Nancy Keene is going to be focusing on today. And so then she breaks it down into here's where we are, here's where we used to be, here's where we are, here's what we need for the future. And then going through Lincoln and Shackleton, she pulls out 10 or 11 little breadcrumbs, she calls them, on what to do, on how to. So great lecture from Nancy King that we can apply to our lives. So yeah. See, Jordan Peterson, as I said, the adventure justifies the catastrophe. The adventure of your life justifies the catastrophe. So the point would be, focus on the adventure, accept the catastrophe. Focus on the adventure of your life. This is the Heraclitus looking behind us. You can never step into the same river twice. Right. Why not? Because it's changed. You're stepping into today was not here yesterday. It's never exactly the same. Forget the past, move forward, forgive. Life is very short. If we think about infinity, the term Seth Godin uses today, infinity, if we have a soul that continues for infinity, little minor things should be forgotten. Don't dwell on the past. Focus on the adventure. Where does the adventure occur? In the future. The adventure occurs in the future. Forget the past, except use it as a learning tool to accentuate the positive, ignore the negative. Let's see, do we got anything else on our hit parade for today, Johnny? I don't think so. So we're going to end this one after, well, still about 5 minutes too long. However, week 4, day 1, topic Nancy Kane, crisis leadership. How do you muddle through when everything is going bad? How do you keep going? How do you keep going when everything around you is telling you, stop, you can't jump out of the hole, that's too deep, right? Be that frog that just keeps jumping all of your might. Use the enthusiasm from the people to get just a little bit higher so you can get one finger hold, another finger hold, 2, 3. Use your leg tumble out of the hole. And then when they ask you how you did it, even though they're praying for you to just die, to give up, to stop struggling, stop fighting, to go gentle into that good night. Do not rage against the dying of the light. And then you say, oh, I'm deaf. I thought you were encouraging me, not telling me to stop. Okay, so that will say and cut. And once again, good morning, Twinkle, wherever you are. Burp, bonk, bonk, whatever. Cut and cut.